Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host, Mohammed Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co-author of New Success Secrets, available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, Mike Montague. Mike is the host of How to Succeed and Playful Humans podcast. He's not only a host of one, he is a host of two podcasts. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Mike Montague.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Did I pronounce your name right? The last
You
one?
nailed it. Yeah, you got it.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. Mike, let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to start How to Succeed podcast and then kind of start not only one, get the second one, Playful Humans too?
Sure. Yeah, it's a little bit of a long story, but I'll make it short. I was in radio in my 20s. I wanted to be cool and be a radio DJ. So I did that. I was on the top 40 station here in Kansas City. And that was around the 2000s, when social media was blowing up and the internet was getting more interesting. So I had an internet radio station there and started a podcast back in my 20s that was a local entertainment podcast thing. But as I became more professional and in my 30s, I wanted to, make some money rather than just having fun at it. I moved to a sales training company called Sandler Training, and I work for the international home office, and the How to Succeed podcast was a great fit there, where I could interview people about how to be successful in sales, leadership, and customer service. And that one took off. It's had almost 2 million downloads now, and we've been going for 5 years. So I wanted to go back to having more fun, and that's what the Playful Humans one is about. So I started that one as a side project just to express my creativity and get outside the box a little bit.
So even after that many years, you still have the creativity left?
Oh, yeah, well, for sure. And I think the How to Succeed podcast has a really clear format, similar to this one, where there's kind of specific questions, and it moves pretty quick, about 20, 25 minutes or so. So I wanted something that I could stretch out a little bit, play with, have some fun, play games with guests, tell jokes, and really express a different side of things. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So fun becomes a part of your routine, so.
Yeah, that's really what it's all about is expressing your true self and playing the way that you want to play and being authentic to who you are.
Yeah, you want to play your own game, not on someone else's one. So, Mike, you have been doing this How to Succeed for last 5 years. I'm sure you learned a thing or two from that one. So from your guests, and that's how you grow yourself basically. What are the top 3 missteps to avoid when you want to grow something like a How to Succeed podcast or business?
Yeah, the first one that comes to mind for me is just not being consistent or not doing it long enough. I think a lot of people, no matter what it is in the business world, in their side project, if they want to get good at a sport or a game, is just doing it enough. So, my first podcast was like anybody's. It had maybe 10 to 100 downloads or something like that. Not very impressive, especially when Sandler has about 700 employees. So I couldn't even get everybody in the company to listen to the first episode, right? And I interviewed our CEO. So you're not going to be good at the start. I think really the first key for me is being consistent, being committed to it, and then figuring it out along the way. And then second one for you would be not learning and growing. So I constantly appear on other people's podcasts. I listen to podcasts. I keep learning about it, taking online courses. Sometimes I teach courses and I learn more from that. So I think some people get stagnant or they go, oh, it's not working, and they give up because they forgot to learn how to get over that obstacle. Right. So that's part of continuing and growing too. And then for me, I think it's also finding your voice a little bit. That a lot of people try to aim for the middle, and the middle is average. The middle is boring. And so the successful people are actually on the outsides. They're on the extreme. So you want to be able to be yourself and find a niche in a market that is different from everybody else's, not the same as all the popular podcasts out there.
Those are great ones. Mike, do you laugh at your own podcast you did 5 years ago? What is this? That was me? No, that's not really me. So
Yeah, for sure. You definitely do that. And I know a lot of people, specifically about podcasting, don't like to hear their own voice. I've gotten over that a long time ago in radio, but still sometimes we've added video this year as part of our growing and learning. And I think still seeing myself on video or hearing funny mistakes and words that I said wrong. In my very first Playful Humans podcast, I said the tagline wrong. So I messed up in the first 20 seconds. And those always get me where it's like, you couldn't even get the first sentence out without messing up. But it got better from there, and the next 15 minutes flew by. But it is funny sometimes.
yeah. No, I'm glad you went on a video because everybody loves your hairstyle, man. So
that's right. Aerodynamic, low maintenance. I highly recommend it for sure.
well, highly recommend it. We all going to get it eventually. So we are on the same path. So don't worry.
You bet.
Yeah. So, Mike, not everything, even you have been doing this podcast, How to Succeed. However, not everything you touched was successful. I'm sure there is some thing or two as a failure. We learned so many lessons. So, do you mind sharing your single most professional failure? And what did you learn from that? And how did you recover from that?
Yeah, I love this question. It's one I ask on the How to Succeed podcast as well. And my favorite story to tell is when I got to open for Billy Idol on stage as a DJ. So his opening act canceled. They called the radio station, and we were the retro radio station at the time. And they asked, do you have anybody that could DJ on stage for an hour, kill some time before Billy Idol so we don't have to start the show early? And I got volunteered. I said, yes, would love to. I met Billy Idol and his manager backstage, and they said, it's a rock show, play mostly rock music and don't play any Billy Idol songs because we're going to play those later. And I said, great, I can do that. But I was a like dance club and retro DJ. So when I thought of rock, I thought of like Jesse's Girl, 80s rock around Billy Idol's time, right? Okay. And apparently Billy Idol sees himself as a classic rock. So he was thinking like Rolling Stones, Leonard Skinner, like classic rock stuff. But as a club DJ, I don't have a lot of those songs, right? There's 2 rock songs you can dance to. It's You Shook Me All Night Long and Pour Some Sugar on Me. And that's it. So about 2 songs in, I played a retro song, and the manager comes out and said, we said play rock music, play more rock music. So I flipped through my whole collection of CDs. We couldn't download at the time. I found nothing in there. And so I played one Rolling Stone song. I played another one, and they just shut the lights off and fired me live on stage in front of thousands of people. They
oh my God.
Turned my sound down, turned the lights off, and I looked over and they were like, you're done. And so what I learned from that is being fired live on stage in front of thousands of people makes you bulletproof, because every other show after that, like no offense to you in this podcast, I love being on. I was nervous for it, but I'm not going to get fired live in front of thousands of people, right? That's the worst that it can get. So I feel like the rest of my career has just been gravy, and it really made me bulletproof.
No, thank you so much being vulnerable and sharing with a smile all this, because how much worse it could go. That's the lowest point, you can ever imagine, so.
Yeah, and of course I had dreams of like impressing him and being asked to go on tour and becoming a famous, DJ myself, and all those got shattered pretty quickly, making it way through my first show. But I got over it quick. Yeah,
and good part was that was not a social media time. Otherwise, you would have been a meme everywhere.
That's true. Yes, nobody was filming it with their phone at that time, which was great.
Wonderful. Mike, thank you. So let's switch the side and get on your success secrets. So you learned so much from your How to Succeed podcast. So from your guests, and what are the top 3 success secrets you see common denominator coming from all the guests?
Yeah, I kind of, they're probably the flip side of my lessons learned there. But I think number 1 for me is being creative. I think unsuccessful people run into roadblocks and obstacles and they quit and give up. Successful people get creative. They find ways that it doesn't work, and then they find ways that it does work. And they really keep going. But sometimes creativity is not what you think. It's not like, oh, I have this brilliant $1 million idea, and then I become the next Jeff Bezos and a multi-billionaire. it doesn't work like that. You still have to do all the work, right? But the creativity part for me is, how do you keep the thing going? How do you find the next level, and how do you get creative? Because your initial ideas only get you so far, and then you have to have another one, and then another one, and then another one. So creativity is huge for me. I also find that when you're yourself, I mentioned that earlier, but being authentic is a lot easier than acting and putting on a show for people, because then you have to keep that up over and over and over again. And if you're doing something outside your natural swing zone, your natural passions, and your skills and talents, you just get burnout. It just becomes too hard, and you can't keep that up. So I would say find something in your swing zone that you love doing. And then for me, Playful Humans is all about having fun. You need to find ways to relax as well. Way too many entrepreneurs talk about grinding and working hard and all the dedication it takes to your business. And I mentioned that part of it is true. You have to keep going, but you have to have fun along the way too. You have to take a vacation. You got to relax and rest and do things to recharge yourself. Otherwise, it's straight to burnout and boredom for sure.
Wonderful. No, that's a great advice. That leads to playfulhumans.com, your second podcast. How the people who are watching this show right now or in the future can support you and playfulhumans.com.
Yeah, I would say you can check out the podcast anywhere: iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, wherever you're watching or listening to this. Search for Playful Humans. But on the website, you'll see two things. One, there's a playfulness quiz where you can find out what type of play you enjoy. Some people like being physical and doing physical activities, running, jumping, climbing, that kind of stuff. Other people love puzzles and games, or other people love social time with other people. So there's a quick BuzzFeed style quiz, which is fun there at playfulhumans.com/quiz. And then lastly, there's a community. So we're trying to collect people that just want to have more fun. I want to find more playful humans and bring them together so we can all encourage each other, especially in the time of the pandemic. I think a lot of people are struggling to find ways to be playful, have fun, and enjoy their downtime. So we're trying to share best practices and learn from each other and be more playful.
Wonderful. This is good. Playfulhumans.com is a great looking website. Check that out. In fact, I'm going to, now you intrigued me to get on the quiz. I'm going to do the quiz and find out what I like to play, so let's see if your quiz is good enough to find me, so
we'll see. Yeah, for sure. I'd love to hear what your result is.
Yeah, wonderful. As we are about to wrap up, Mike, I like to ask this question to every guest, almost every guest. What would you say to about your today's guest experience on the Growth Hacking Secret Show?
Oh, I loved being on the show. You have a great interview style, some great questions that really lead to interesting answers. And I think it's very similar to my How to Succeed podcast. It's stuff everybody needs to know about the success principles, things that work for everybody. And they work around the world in every language and culture. And that's what people need to learn in order to grow and get to the next level in their own life.
Thank you for your kind words. I appreciate it. What would you say as a final word?
Go play.
Go play. Yeah. And if you don't know how to play, start with the playfulhumans.com and /quiz. Okay. That will give you the light how you want to play. So that way you really enjoy it. Basically, thank you so much, Mike, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.